Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. We are live streaming on Facebook and YouTube, ladies and gentlemen, for the playback. And we're here in the Zoom room where we have live interpretation with Florence for French and Alfredo for Spanish. And with that in mind, while I'm looking at you both, I'm remembering to slow down because I speak really fast when I'm excited. So today's event is going to be absolutely fantastic. And with that in mind, I want to say that here we are based down here in the Southern Hemisphere for the Asian tour recap right across the world. And Ryan had to come from one part of the world. I had to come from another part of the world. And I've got to tell you that my plane flight was still long and enduring, but not as long as poor Ryan, who had to come from the other side of the world. Normally, it takes me about 36 hours to get somewhere like the summit. And so it was interesting to see poor Ryan have to do it in reverse. So I'm going to kick off with a few slides talking about Indonesia, Taiwan, and Japan. For those people who are brand new and don't know, Michael Firth, one of the founding advisory board members, and Crowns. And then we're going to hear from lots of different people with some feedback. So firstly, Ryan unfortunately had a connecting flight that missed, which meant that when we got to Indonesia first off, unfortunately, the new office opening, which is in a really flash, impressive part of town, very opulent part of town, that had to go ahead without Ryan, but the show went on anyway. So in this photograph, you can see in the center, Angel Vade, our amazing country manager, but you can also see some of our staff and some of our key leaders that came to the office just to meet for a bit of a leadership chat before we kicked off. And this was a special celebratory opening, very traditional. And that was in Jakarta with our country manager, Angel Vade, and some of the staff. Then we hopped on a plane from Jakarta to Surabaya, and then planes, trains, and automobiles. We actually got in a car and then traveled for a few more hours to a place called Solo City. And this was when Ryan was still missing in action. We knew he was on a plane somewhere in the world, but this is all of the new leadership that has popped up in Solo City. And I'll talk more about that once we hear from Ryan in a minute. But I want to play I'm going to play a very quick video, and this will give you a real understanding on everything that happened over there. Whoop, and here we go.
Ya, bahwa kita harus selalu mengembangkan dari waktu ke waktu.
Indonesia it's not because they've been able to discover the country, but because they've been able to interact with you people.
Kata-kata Neumi, New adalah baru, Mi adalah saya, jadi saya menjadi baru. Ini akan terjadi di Solo.
Karena saya melihat peluang yang sangat luar biasa ya, terutama dari kita bisa menjadi leader-leader awal.
Dan saya lihat Neumi ini punya peluang yang sangat besar untuk kita semuanya menjangka panjang.
Bentar lagi ada produk yang akan masuk juga yang tak kalah kerennya Bapak Ibu. Itu saya percaya banget bahwa ini adalah Britalion, itu adalah sesuatu yang kita butuhkan untuk hari-hari ini, untuk kesehatan sel kita.
Padahal Neumi itu glutathione yang mempunyai unique selling point. Dia hydrostat dan nanoteknologinya sangat-sangat kecil.
When I came here, I realized, as Ryan said, the massive potential that you have right at your hands here.
Alrighty, so we're going to get some feedback from Ryan Scott, our co-founder and chief strategy officer, and I'm going to give you some feedback from Angel Vade. But before I introduce Ryan, I want to say something. I've known Ryan since he was so high, and I remember in the first year of Neumi, as things took off, hit Crown, and we went on our first diamond retreat, and there I looked up when I first saw Ryan, when I had to look up at Ryan, which was crazy. But I want to bring that point of looking up to someone to a whole new perspective. I'm going to say this because I'm totally transparent about business, and I think that builds trust. We did have some technology issues about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, and they really impacted the business, and particularly Indonesia, and certainly lots of businesses around the world. And whatever you might have experienced, if you're one of those leaders, times it by 100, and that's what we went through. But when I was sitting with Ryan and understanding the corporate commitment, and I always say this, you'll never be able to question someone's heart or integrity in Neumi. We might, in the corporate team, we might make some mistakes, but we will do everything we can in our power to patch it up. I got to know the real Ryan, the beautiful human being on the inside that has nothing to do with his corporate role. And I also got to learn a lot about what Ryan has developed and learned and grown with as the company's grown over the last nearly 5 years now. And I said this, and I'll say it out loud, I have 100% trust and faith that Ryan is going to be running this ship for the long term. And so with that in mind, I'm going to ask him to unmute. I'm going to hand the call to Ryan to give some feedback about this first part of the trip, which was through Indonesia. Over to you, buddy.
Thank you, Michael. First of all, I want to say, can we hire the person who made that video for Neumi full time and make sure that they're at all our events? Because that was an incredible video, and I'm sure the budget is pretty friendly. So let's hire them full time. Secondly, you might be wondering, why are we doing a full blown global call recapping these events? And what I want to do is impress upon everyone the importance of being person to person, face to face, because as Michael said, he got to know me a little bit better. I got to know him a little bit better. And I have a newfound, I've always loved Michael. And, he and I have spent countless hours on Zoom together and, even diamond retreats and stuff. But my wife even called him my boyfriend the first 2 years of Neumi because of the time zone difference. I was always talking to him on the phone and working things out, and as we were building this company together. And but after all these years of Zooms and all that, I didn't know Michael the way I was able to get to know him face to face on a 10-day tour. And same thing with the people, with the people in Indonesia. This business is so much about relationships and friendships, and that's one of the best parts about network marketing. Is it's not, it's the product, financial independence is all great, but you make friendships, and that's what this life is all about. You can be home, anywhere can be your home if you're surrounded by people you love. I was in a very tough part of Mexico for 2 years, and I was the happiest I was ever been because I was around people I loved and made some amazing friendships. And so as we go through this recap of this event, I want to impersonate how important it is to have events in your local area to establish those relationships, because as much as you might know people over Zoom, it's different being able to hug them and being able to hear their stories face to face. It's like the difference. It's like watching a video of a Ferrari on YouTube and then actually sitting in a Ferrari and going for a ride, right? Very different experience, same car, but it's so different. And those connections are what are going to make people cement them to your business, but more importantly to your life, where you can learn from each other and grow from each other. And so it was so fun. And starting with Indonesia, Michael was right. I had a horrible plane journey to get there. I went to Georgia first and then backtracked, passed over Utah, 15 hours to Korea, missed my flight there, or missed my connecting flight to Jakarta. So I had to wait 24 hours in Korea. Then I flew 8 hours to Jakarta. And when I finally got there, and then I spent the night in Jakarta airport in a hotel, but in the airport hotel. And then the next morning I had to fly to Solo where the event was. So it was like 4 days of traveling. I get to the hotel at around 11:30 a.m. and the event starts at noon. So I have 30 minutes to get showered and get ready. And I get ready and I go down and I'm seeing stars. I was so exhausted and so tired. And I get to the event after about 4 days of travel. And there's this thing that they like to do in Indonesia where they like to take the leaders of the company. Aaron and Michael had gone to a volcano called Mount Bromo. And Mount Bromo is about a 6-hour van ride away from where we were, 6.5 hours. And you get there at sunrise, and then you hike to the top, and you come down and you come back. And you don't sleep or anything. You're awake the whole time. You don't stay in a hotel. You just drive there 6 hours, go up a mountain, come back 6 hours. So I sit down and breathing for the first time. I just got off the taxi, showered. I'm in the meeting. And Michael said, "Hey, just a heads up. I think they want to take you to Mount Bromo." And my heart dropped to my stomach. And I said, "You're kidding me." And he said, "Yeah." I pulled up my phone and I saw Mount Bromo was 6.5 hours away. I said, "We leave to Tokyo tomorrow." And I said, "What time's our flight?" He said, "Our flight's at 4 p.m. You'll be back around 1. You'll be fine. They'll just take you straight to the airport from there." And then I look at Angel, our country manager, and I say, she said, "The leaders are so excited to go to Mount Bromo with you. It's going to be an incredible experience." I said, "Where do we sleep?" She said, "Oh, we don't sleep. You'll be fine. You can sleep in the bus." And Michael told me about the previous experience, about how it's just a bumpy road the whole way. And I started texting my wife and I said, "Babe," I said, "I don't care who I offend. I can't do this." I said, "I am seeing stars. There's nothing I don't want to do more in my life than get on a van for 12 hours and hike up a mountain and a total 12 hours and then go to Tokyo. It would be like 7 straight days of traveling." And so I was trying to get out of it. I said, "Angel, please let me take the leaders to dinner. Let me connect with them. I'll do anything." And then finally, Michael convinced me. He said, "You got to go, buddy." And I said, "Okay, fine." So I just said, I can do anything for 12 hours. I just have to get through the next 24 hours and then I'll be able to sleep in Tokyo. And it was probably the most stressed. My palms were sweating and I thought, this is going to be the craziest travel experience of my life. I will not have slept in a bed for like 4 days. And but I said yes. I'm glad I said yes. And so then I get up and I talk and I give my presentation and then I sit down. Then Michael pulls me up and he says, "Ryan, come on up." And so I go up and he talks about the Mount Bromo experience. And he says, "Now, my good friend Ryan, he loves people so much. He doesn't want to offend anyone. So we're going to Mount Bromo." And he said, "How are you feeling about that?" And I said, "Rock on. I'm ready for Mount Bromo." As a tear came out of my eye and trying to hide the fear and dread in my face. And then he handed me an envelope. He said, "Can you open this? This is for your trip." And I opened it and it said, "You survived the Mount Bromo prank." And I was in such shock. I still didn't get it. And then I sat down and I said, "Angel, are we going to Mount Bromo or not?" And she said, "No, we're not going." And it was honestly probably the biggest stress relief of my entire life because it was crazy. Anyways, apart from that, it was an incredible event. We made awesome relationships and that's what the essence was of this trip, was making friendships and relationships that will last a lifetime. I'm looking at Roberto Gonzalez. He was our translator and our tour guide and our friend in Japan. And I got to meet Mr. Wu and our translator Lucy over there and all the leaders in Taiwan. It was just an incredible experience, but I'll hand it back off to Michael to talk a little bit more about the event.
Beautiful. And it's funny, I remember Prue and Greg will know this, when we were in Taiwan traveling with Sergio, the Australian New Zealand humor, we were having a go at each other and poking fun, and pranking is actually a sign of loving someone enough to actually know they can survive. And I've got to say, it was hilarious. But unfortunately, I've been told to watch over my shoulder everywhere I go because Ryan has it out for me now. So there's going to be a reverse prank at some point. And I did so many things to say, can I do my penance anyway other than another prank? But apparently not. So we have fun here at Neumi, and I want to say that to absolutely everybody. Just, have fun with your business. It is about friendships. So now what I want to do, Angel, our country manager, would love to have been on this call now, but she said she could not because she has another commitment. So what she's given me, I'm just going to share the screen. Oh, wrong screen. Let me do it this way. What she's given me is a bit of feedback that I'm going to share with you. Okay, so I think I need to do this actually. 2 seconds. There we go. All right, so this is beautiful Angel Vade. Angel is instrumental in the country of Indonesia. She helped set up the office. She helped get everything registered, keeping everything compliant. She has so many roles. So as she says here, thank you, Ryan and Michael, for visiting Indonesia as part of the Asian tour. The solo event was an extraordinary event attended by outstanding Indonesian leaders with integrity and commitment to Neumi's business development. I'm confident Indonesia will continue to grow and progress into the future. Go Diamond, go Crown. And that's the mantra that you'll hear coming out of the mouth of all of the Indonesians. Now I can still see Alfredo reading that, so we're good. So some of our people who are beautiful leaders who've hung around actually reignited the growth here in Indonesia. And they speak Bahasa, but not English well. So we've asked them to give some feedback. This is my good friend, Buddy William, who was the first person at the top of Mount Bromo with me and Aaron Rennett. He's a 3-star in the business. And he says it's been tremendous success for our leaders and team players in Neumi Solo. Thank you, Michael and Ryan, for coming to Indonesia, giving us renewed energy and continued growing and progressing. Now, I want to focus on one particular leader. Now, this is written in Indonesian. So for those people who can speak Indonesian, have a read of that while I just say something in English that the translators will translate. This lady epitomizes the exact strategy to revive your business that I was there to teach, okay? She has a beautiful heart. And when I finished translating for the leaders in the head office, what I felt was required to reignite the country, I then discovered she had done exactly what I'd said before any advice, exactly to the letter. So let's have a read of this and then I'll tell you what I'm talking about. So this is Maria. Maria says, we were delighted to welcome Ryan and Michael and Miss Angel to Solo. The event was attended by the Deputy Mayor of Solo, the Dean of the Faculty of Medicine from UNS, and the Chairman of, I can't pronounce it, Foundation. And other high-ranking officials. It was very official. There was more than 200 at the event, eager to learn more about Neumi. It was a perfect opportunity to re-energize Neumi members in Indonesia. And Neumi's support for the Asian market, especially Indonesia, is awaited with attractive programs that will serve as leverage for members to increase sales and figures in Indonesia. So this is the team, and we know that this team is going to explode Neumi 2.0 in Indonesia. So let me just talk about what I told the leaders, which I'm going to say to everyone. Some of the people on the call here may have been with Neumi a few years, and that's fantastic. Other people are brand new. Now, what we saw in Indonesia was this. I remember talking to Aaron and the corporate team when we had some technology issues a couple of years ago from transitioning from one website to other, and it was really tough. And you saw the business for home stats. We kept growing despite that. Mind-blowing that our product is so good, that does so much that no other product can do, that everyone stuck through it. Now, some leaders fell by the wayside because the technology hassles were too hard. And that is fine for those individuals. I'm not going to have a go at anyone. People might choose their own journey. What I said to corporate was the only way to get the next wave of momentum starting is to get underneath the leaders that might have a bit of PTSD in their head about some technology problems. New blood, people who don't have that, a bit like Men in Black, doof, which that should use this, my new Primaskin bottle. Men in Black, boom, you don't remember anything from the past. So if you can take your focus off what was holding you back, I had my beautiful friend, Dr. Dean Stubbs from the Medical Advisory Board say to me, Michael, all I can hear coming out of your mouth at the moment is all these problems that the website had. And he said, you've taught me for many years that if you're focused on the past, that's going to hold you back and you won't have the energy to focus on the future. So you're either in the past, angry at what happened, or in the future with anxiety about, can we make this happen? So stay in the present. That advice was gold. And then, of course, combining that mentally with not hearing all this rubbish from people who are stuck in the past and then focusing on new blood, new people at the bottom of teams, that's how you get explosions to start again, because they don't have anything in their head. They haven't been contaminated with any of that in their brain. Maria did exactly that in combination with our beautiful country manager, Angel, who didn't just stay in her office. She went out in the field and went to solo with the leaders to make that happen. So it was a combined effort. And that, just like Ryan and I traveling around the world together, has been amazing. I'm sure it's been amazing for bonding with them as well. So I want to say thank you to all the original leaders in Indonesia, but also thank you to those that have dusted themselves off, got out there and really started to explode the next market. So many beautiful things have happened, and Indonesia is ready to absolutely explode. Now, going to share some other stuff with you. Just give me 2 seconds. I'm just going to mute for 1 second because I can hear a weird noise. Hang on. Guys, I'm just going to shut my office door. Okay, I thought it was my wife doing something weird in the other room. It turns out it's someone down on the beach who's got a very loud something or other. So anyway, let's move on. So let's talk about the next country. So here we were. These are the beautiful leaders that are going to take us to the next stage. Then we moved on to Japan, and the top left-hand corner, you can see our arrival with the amazing Roberto Gonzalez. And you can see all the fun things we did on the top right-hand corner. All we did was we ate and ate and ate and ate in all these crazy places. That was the tiniest restaurant on the planet that we went to on the top right. Down the bottom, you can see the official geisha type wear. In the middle there, that photograph shows how amazing Ryan's voice and mine is at karaoke. Maybe mine might not be. And then, of course, we got taken around the whole state as well. So I want to show you something really cool, because we did a few videos while we were there, and we were really fortunate because the start of the event was crazy. And then we thought we were going to have lots of different one-on-ones, but we had a couple of free days, and then we had the main meeting, which worked out perfectly. And we got to see Japan, and oh my God, it was just amazing. I would go back to Japan in a heartbeat. I'd go back to Indonesia too, but have a quick look at these 2 quick videos, and then I'll bring back Ryan, and I'll also bring on Roberto to share his feedback as well. So what we're going to do here is invite 2 amazing gentlemen to come up and share. And I've got to say that before we bring on Roberto as well, I have never met someone as so committed from day one to the greater good of Neumi, meaning not about his own team, about the greater good of Neumi. And that is the energy that we want in Neumi. We want people who are there to understand the Neumi family And we understand we don't cross the line and try and give advice to people who have their own great coach in other lines. We respect that, but we do support the greater good. And this man has selflessly committed himself. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring Roberto on first, if that's okay, Ryan, and I'll get him to give his feedback. Yep. And then with that, we'll then come back and Ryan can and face on from that one. So over to you, buddy.
Thank you so much, Michael. It was amazing to have here Michael and Ryan. I'm so glad that I received the visit of such a big leaders, because we can see the quality of people that we have at the company on the top of the company. And now I can see Ryan look younger, but you look handsome with the beard too, buddy. I need to say the people here in Japan was extremely excited to see the leaders of Neumi, and was so nice because for me that changed my life. I need to say Neumi is making a really improvement in my health. From awake every day with pain on my back to awake suddenly healthy. I'm feeling healthy. I want to tell you, my problem on the back come from the war, and feel pain on my back was feeling the war or why. And now I don't need to suffer that. And go to an event and see amazing people from Russia, from France, people from different lines, people really enthusiastic to see Michael and to see Ryan and learn from there and listen to them was a really good experience. And I can only say thank you. I understand why Neumi is like this, and it's going to be like a rocket ever, because with that such quality of leaders, we are going to be really good friends forever. And with the quality of people that is joining today, you can see in the group, we are so excited in Tokyo to make that happen. In Japan, we're going to do our best. Thank you so much for the chance to meet you guys. It was amazing.
Beautiful. And I've got to say the other thing too, and Ryan will talk more about this, I'm sure, but we and we'll talk, let's talk about just the fun we had first, Ryan, then we'll come back and show some stuff on the meeting and talk about that. But we're suggesting you should set up a business on being a tour guide, because people would see him explaining things to us as we're out there, and then like, where did you find him? Because he just knew everything about everyone. But then the Japanese would say something, and then of course Roberto would respond in Japanese, and they're like, hang on a second, you can understand us? So it was phenomenal. So Ryan, I'll bring you on and let's talk just about the fun we had and Roberto spoiling us, and then we'll come back and talk about the event after that.
Yeah, so my wife actually went to Japan in January for a whole week. And the first day I got to Japan, I sent her pictures of all the stuff that Roberto took us to do. And she said, you guys did more stuff your first day. You did all the things you did in your first day, took us a whole week to do. How did you do that? And the answer was Roberto. Roberto was our cheat code. We were at dinner and the chef was talking to Roberto in Japanese, and Roberto was explaining the food to us and everything. And this couple next to us says, how much does he charge as your tour guide? And I said, oh, he's a friend. And but then we told Roberto, we said, you need to start a tour business because he speaks English, Spanish, and Japanese, and he could take us anywhere and navigate the train system. And it was so cool. We got to see so much and experience so much of Japan and learn about their culture. It was a mind-blowing experience. So if you are ever going to Japan, write down Roberto's information, because he will show you around, and it is worth every penny. I don't know what he's going to charge, but whatever he charges, it's worth it. It was so much fun getting to know the culture, and network marketing is such a cool business where you could have a business explode in Peru or Japan or Indonesia or Taiwan or Spain or the US or wherever. And you might be called to go support your team over there. And so it's just so cool in this digital age that we can have the tools to grow our business all over the world. And with what we have coming in July, the odds of your business exploding all over the world are going to increase significantly. So that being said, I'll pass it back to Mike.
Beautiful. And you know what? For all of you know that my beautiful wife's a foodie, right? I say I live in a restaurant, and the food's amazing. So when we go out in the Sunshine Coast here, there's only 3 restaurants that actually cut it. Everything else is like ho-hum by comparison to how we eat at home. It's amazing. But I said to my wife, you got to come to Japan. Like the food was off the charts. And there was one moment where he said, where do you want to do? And I said, that teppanyaki thing, and he goes, you mean like the Hollywood one where they pretend to throw stuff and, we go, yeah, yeah, yeah. And he goes, well, I want to take you to the best one. Honestly, I feel it's an insult to say that the place we went to was teppanyaki, because if you compare it to the usual teppanyakis and that, they were like stratospheres of quality between them. And I've never had Wagyu steak in my mouth as tender as what we had. I was just, both of us, all of us were like, oh, the wows, oh my God, oh, wow, wow, wow. It was constantly just talking about how spectacular the food was. So if you build a business for no other reason than to travel the world, build your business for that. Am I selling the dream? Yes. This is the life you get to live when you build a business like that. So put that in the back of your mind. Now let's talk about the real reason we were there, business, right? Let's come back to this one. So this is a few of the different teams that arrived. So you can see in the top left-hand corner some local Japanese people. You can see in the middle a mixture there, including some of the team from, say, Kazakhstan. Down the bottom left, you can see people who came in from the French team. And so that was our event. But I'm going to play a quick video here just to show you that event, and then we'll come back with some feedback from Ryan. So when we look at that, and by the way, Roberto, if you want to come back on and give some feedback at the meeting as well, that'd be good. But when we look at that, you might say, oh, that wasn't a very big meeting. Well, this is a soft launch of Japan. And I want to say this, acorns grow massive oak trees. And I've always used this example because it's the most extreme in my business. When someone says, it's one of those pyramids, the guy at the top has all the money. Well, I introduced a guy called Larry, and my team's about 125,000 people now. Larry was 85, beautiful, big-hearted man, introduced me to a friend of his who was like, PTSD on network marketing, and now she's a double crowning, more money than me and more money than Larry. Now, if that doesn't edify, this is an amazing business opportunity. I don't know what will. That was from one contact. One contact led to now, I think that team is 65,000 people plus. So that's what you have in your hands, and you never know where one meeting will go. Someone asked me, is Asian trip profitable for you? No. Asia is an investment for me right now. I'm out of pocket at the moment in in Asia, because I'm investing in it. You don't just win taps lotto in network marketing, you invest. It's a business. And like any business, it's important to invest. And if I'm going to build a business internationally, I can't just sit on my Zoom screen and go, I'm never going to see you guys. I have to back them. If they back themselves, I'll back them. And that's why I was there. So I'd encourage more of you to do some travel and support. But let's get back to Ryan to give some feedback on the meeting. And then Roberto, if you've got some extra comments after that, we can bring you back on.
Yeah, and I want to echo what you just said about meetings and how important they are. And it doesn't matter the size, right? Small, medium, big, it doesn't matter. It's no secret that Europe is the fastest growing region that we have in Neumi. And they're just constantly exploding, and they have meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting in Italy, in Poland, in Hungary. We at corporate go where we're pulled. It's not that we just say, hey, we're going to go here, we're going to go here. We don't play favorites. We just say, if people are having meetings and getting people together, we want to be there. We want to support and help it grow. And that's what this was. This was a soft launch into Japan. And that's the smallest meeting we'll ever have in Japan. It's only going to get bigger from there. And same with Taiwan and same with Indonesia. It just keeps getting bigger. And going back to Indonesia, the blue ocean thing, where a lot of the leaders in Indonesia had experienced some trials from the technology switch over and everything. And a lot of Europe never experienced that. That's why Europe's just exploding and growing, is because a lot of them never had to deal with any of the issues. US had to deal with the issues, Canada had to deal with the issues, and those markets have struggled. But this person in Indonesia talked about blue ocean strategy. She said, rather than trying so hard to win back the the loyalty of some of the leaders that she had in her team in Indonesia that were scarred from the past. She said, you know what, if they're not coming back now, or if they're not happy now, maybe I just need to find new people. And it's kind of like when a girlfriend breaks up with you, right? If a girlfriend breaks up with you and you're like, please take me back, please take me back, please take me back, they're probably not going to come back, right? The more you beg, the more they probably back away. And so playing hard to get sometimes pays off. So if you go and you find new people, maybe, just maybe, those people will come back. But the people you do bring on that are new blood, whether you're in some of these markets that have had some of the struggles, like the US and Canada and Latin America, the companies that, or the countries that were established when we went through our issues, I encourage you not to go after leaders that might have gone away, or some of your teams that might have gone away. Find new people, because Neumi has the most incredible product. We have a website that works. We have a back office that works. We have commissions that work. Everything's humming, and we're hitting our 5-year mark. This is, in the industry, when you hit your 5-year mark, it's where you can explode, because we're still in the startup, but we've worked out throughout all the kinks. And so don't get lost in what's the word? There's a phrase, but don't get lost trying to bring people that don't want to be brought back. Go find new people and watch your business explode, and explode with no regrets, right? Explode without remorse and without holding back. That's what these teams are doing in Europe and Indonesia 2.0. And so that's my message from, and that's what Japan's going to see, and Taiwan as well. Taiwan was actually really big when we first launched Neumi, and then they went down to 0 for a couple of years because of what happened. And now they looked at us and they said, we're ready to rock again. And it was full of all new people. And so they're looking at the Blue Ocean strategy. So yeah, I'm seeing a lot of comments right now of this resonating with people. Don't try to raise the dead. Give birth to the new. Thank you, Beth. I like that. And that's my biggest takeaway from this trip. That was just like an aha moment, was seeing this room of 200 people. And it was all their first time. And we had big events in Indonesia in the past, and then it dipped. And now all these new people have no scars, and they're just ready and hungry. And that's what we want to chase after, especially, and I'm going to keep teasing our July summit, but especially coming into our July summit, you're going to want to find a lot of new people, because it's just going to go crazy. So I'll pass it off to Michael.
Beautiful. And I want to say this too, because if you're watching this brand new, some people, members might go, oh, don't talk about the issues we had. Don't talk about issues. Transparency builds trust, guys. So don't hide it, because guess what? We have no problems now. There's none. Everything's working beautifully. Technology. You may ask the question, hey, how come we haven't launched that brand new website and app yet? Well, because we don't want any of the past PTSD to happen again. So we're making sure it is bulletproof, okay? So be patient. That's why we're holding it off, but it is phenomenal. When you see what's coming, and if I could tell you some of the things that maybe Ryan, speaking in his sleep, might have said, I can tell you I've never been more excited. And the summit is going to be phenomenal. I said to someone yesterday, where I could see their team was coming and they weren't, I said, please rethink this. You need to be at that event. Honestly, there's some stuff coming out of the event, which if I said it now, Ryan will kill me. But I want to reiterate what was in the chat there. Alex said to me these comments. Alex Monterosa, he's online, I think, or he was before. He's my mentor. He's one of the reasons, one of the main reasons we're all here. And Alex said this statement: it's easier to restrain a fanatic than revive the dead, right? It's easier to restrain a fanatic than revive the dead. So if I got someone who's not doing the Neumi 1, 2, 3, and they're just out there going crazy, talking to people, I'd much rather try and sort of teach that person than try and, let's get these people back to breathing. It's much easier. Find new blood, business will explode. Now, Roberto, do you want to give some feedback about the event as well? Because you rocked. You made that event happen, buddy.
Thank you so much. We found that that venue, and was amazing, because after that event, a lot of people send me the comments about what they feel. People from different teams, even because we catch all the communication with all, and say, if you need service, the company will provide. Please ask if you have any question. And I was especially surprised for two people who sent me practically exactly the same message, one from the France side, one from the Russian side. And they told me about Michael and Ryan. And one message was especially nice because both say Ryan was wow, such a fresh air, really pure person. You can see the will to be wise and good wisdom, try to help all people, and the human side of him. He was like a really fresh light over them. And both say the same. They even don't know each other. But they both say the same thing. Wow, Michael was electrifying. How powerful message and how easy is to understand the energy he is moving, the power message. I need to say all people feel that. And yeah, we understand that the message is need to apply the system, the 1, 2, 3, copy, learn from our elders, learn from the people who already had the experience. And the people, some people are here. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu. Some Japanese people are also today connected. So, 本当にありがとうございます、皆さん。嬉しい、見たここで。And I can say, Japanese really ready for, and we are waiting for. I'm of course I'm going to go in July to Barcelona, but I think the key from the event to be that good, and it's because the people can ask questions to Michael, to Ryan, and they are really excited to go and take a picture with him and say, hey, I'm joining. Can I take a picture with you? And they say, yeah, of course, and give a hand and take a picture with them. The people are so excited with the events because they can meet such a nice people. Then I invite also to all the people who can to go in July to Barcelona because it's going to be massive. I'm sure about that. Japan was we really before and after that two genius come to that city and enjoy that days. I'm so glad that you have a good time, but now we need to use all the things you learn, because this is another thing. Every phrase Michael told me, you saw a lot of trip and a lot of food, etc. People think, oh, they're in holiday. No, every phrase, every sentence, every moment we have a 10 seconds talking, Michael was teaching me, Ryan was giving me keys, and they give me a lot of good things for learn, for give to all the team, and now we are on that phase. Let's go to make Japan big and big. Take care, the tsunami is coming.
That's funny. I was avoiding the word tsunami because I know it's something to look out for over there. But thank you so much for sharing that. And I want to say this too, now that we're segueing into the Taiwan market, and Ryan said they were huge at the start. I mean, we had a few diamonds in the team pretty quickly before, and that was an NFR, not for retail market. So when you look at the Neumi in the back office, it shows, in the help.neumi.com page where you can click on a fields thing and it shows you every country, what products are available, how long it takes to get delivered, everything, all the countries listed. Some of them are good for NFR, not for retail. And that's Australia. You would never have to be fully operational here. It doesn't make a big deal. Like everyone buys online, no one's going to go to an office anyway. So retail is a tiny component that no one thinks about. So with that in mind, the NFR model works here. So we're not to know whether an NFR market works in a certain country. So we took off really fast and we had diamonds pop out, but there was payment issues, identification issues, NFR didn't work, products we did stopped at customs. So we realized that the people were there were very committed, and astounded me how committed, in fact, because I saw people who were diamonds way back then turning back up to the meeting. What does that say? Same as Indonesia. This product's so good, this company's so good. We worked through those issues and now we're at the starting gate again. I think the products will start shipping locally, fully registered. I won't say a date because Uncle Wu doesn't want me to say that. I'll talk about Uncle Wu in a minute, but very soon. That's all I'm going to say. Don't want to make any promises. So let me share a few more slides here in another quick video, and then we'll get into that as well. So this was the first team. This is Uncle Wu, we call him right there, who has a lot of wisdom in that market. And this was in Taiwan, the very first. Now, just talking about how crazy it is travel-wise, it took me 24 hours of being in Tainan and telling someone that I was in Taipei to realize I was in a different part of the country because my brain was fried. But these are Mr. Wu and his beautiful leaders and Lucy, our translator, at the first meeting where we discussed some of the things that need to continue to develop in the market to make it work. This is an example of the people at both Tainan and Taipei in the meetings that we had there that hung around at the end for some photos. And of course, we took the bullet train, and it was so fast, you can see that Ryan's beard disappeared on that trip. And that's the first time I've been on a bullet train from one end of the country to the other as well. So I'm going to play a quick video here so you can see this one, and then we'll get some feedback on this event from Ryan. Righty. So firstly, this is my beautiful friend. I call him Uncle Woo because that's what he wants to be called, and he does feel like that. So I'm going to give you this in English, and then we'll show you for the local people that don't speak the language, we'll give you a screen as well. So thank you to Ryan and Michael for traveling such a long distance to visit the beautiful island of Taiwan. This Asian trip included discussions with the Taiwan team regarding the development of plans and progress of Neumi Taiwan. The two events held in Taipei and Tainan helped our Taiwanese partners gain a clearer understanding of the advantages of the global Neumi business opportunity, especially our hydrostat delivery technology. We are confident that Neumi's unique breakthrough technology will transform the health supplement industry and bring healthier lives for people around the world. With our top-notch management team, highly competitive, highly quality products, and generous compensation plan. And we believe in the near future, Neumi will help countless people around the world achieve health and greater success. And Neumi business is destined to shine brightly on the global stage. Let's continue to work together. Now, while you read that in the other language, if you do read it, I want to say this. In the same way as Roberto didn't say my team and only my team and keep it to himself. And by the way, I've met people in other countries where that's happened and I don't work with them. If they're going to be just like, no, everything's for me, then I'm like, okay, you can be me, and I'll go support someone who's everyone, everyone. And so this gentleman has, not just for his own team, but he has committed to work with Fiona, our regional manager, countless hours for free to try and help get things correct and right. Now, on that note, I know there's someone on the event right now, and his name is Alex, and I'm not going to bring Alex on because Alex is actually been with other companies, but he's a beautiful friend of ours who's been in the corporate world at the top of the corporate teams for Asian countries and companies. And he too selflessly has given his time and energy and advice and so forth to help us get things right in that market. And I want to thank him because he knows he's online right now. But Alex is amazing, the same big heart, and these people mirror what we want in Neumi. Now, having said that, there is other teams collaborating, and in the very first explosion we had, this gentleman here, one of the founding members also of Taiwan, Yang Shen Lin. Yang Shen says, thank you to the Neumi leadership team for visiting Taiwan. Your presence brought all our partners together and strengthened the unity of our team. This visit not only increased the confidence across the Neumi team, but also deepened mutual connection and laid a solid foundation for closer cooperation in the future. Now, I didn't put all of his background down, but not only was he one of the first people that I ever spoke to in Taiwan, he was the first person to break a diamond. And he also is very, very, very educated in nutrition and health. And his list of his credentials is so long, I couldn't fit them on the screen. And I want to say that too. So we've got really pedigree experience in network marketing, and we've got really pedigree experience as well in health and wellness. So he asked me to finish with this picture, and then I'm going to just bring Ryan on to wrap up his thoughts. But this picture was custard buns that I love, and we were taken out for lunch by Mr. Wu and Alex. And what's written on there, I've actually got a tattoo of one of these too, and it's all about luck. And this is to bless the whole Neumi Taiwan business and the Neumi Asian tour recap and Neumi Asia in the future with heaps of luck. So with it in mind, I'd like to bring on Ryan, if just to share his perspective on Taiwan and also just wrap up thoughts on the tour.
Yeah, it was an incredible tour. Taiwan was cool to see the leaders who had stuck with us for so long after their market had been through some trials as well, and seeing those faces and the love and patience that they had with us was so humbling to see. It was just a really cool overall experience, and the Asia tour was amazing, and I can't wait to visit you guys and everyone on this call. Throw events in your local area, and we'll send people out. I know that Steve and Aaron are going to Europe in May. I'm going to Mexico, Monterrey in May, and Sergio's going to Panama tomorrow. And I think we might have another event in Canada in May. So we are working our buns off. Speaking of buns, those buns that Michael put off, we're working our buns off, and we would like to join you wherever you are, and help me settle the debate. This has nothing to do with it, but I was looking at the pictures of the beard, and I had never grown a beard that long before. And when I FaceTimed my cute daughter, my 4-year-old daughter, and she saw I shaved my beard, she cried. And she said, "I don't like it. Put your beard back on." And so put in the chat, beard or no beard. Even my wife, who my whole life, she said she didn't think she liked beard. Once I shaved, she says, "Actually, I think I like the beard better." So, but maybe that's just the younger generation, and the older people probably appreciate me looking younger. That's what I've gathered, is that the younger people like the beard and the older people say no beard. So everyone's saying no beard. That might say something about your age. I guess the more mature people like clean shaven. So maybe for you guys, I'll say clean shaven for a while, and then I might have to do beard to keep my wife and daughter happy. They're pretty important too. So thank you guys for the votes. It looks like it's kind of split decision, so I guess we'll just go from here. Thank you so much for the incredible event, everyone in Japan, Taiwan, and Indonesia. We're going to take it to the moon, and if you haven't bought tickets for the event, buy tickets for the event, and you won't regret it. You won't regret it, because you're gonna see some incredible things. So with that being said, I'll pass it off to Michael to close. Thank you, everybody.
Beautiful. Now, I typed in no beard, and then you said if you type no beard, you're probably older, and I'd already hit send, and I probably wouldn't have said that otherwise, because I feel young. Anyway, as we wrap up, I want to say it was a spectacular tour. It was an exhausting tour. Ryan, I'll say this, and I'll surf close to the edge. Normally when I travel, I get, I'm hanging on my white knuckles with this pace we go, and your immune system gets affected. And because, even with glutathione, sometimes you come back and you've got a bug or some sort, you pick it up. I flew on a plane once and I fell asleep like this. I woke up and I thought, well, that was smart. Every bug on the planet probably dropped into your throat. And sure enough, I ended up with a bug. Ryan might have given me something. That's all I'm saying. And I was bulletproof. That's all I'm saying. Come to Barcelona. You may want to be there to find out more. Was that a good tease, right? So as we wrap up this event,
a great tease.
No more. I say any more, I'll be dead. But you don't want to miss Barcelona, trust me. So I just want to wrap up and say this. We have some beautiful people who are that servant leader type, greater good. And right now, Florence is translating in French for anyone in any French team, right? Alfredo is translating live, interpreting in Spanish for any team, not just his team. That's the energy that we want in Neumi. So if you speak another language and you're going to grow a team, Roberto, then if someone in your team is bilingual, then bring them to the table. Now, are we going to pay someone to pay translators on every event? No, I'm asking you. I do heaps of things for every team, and I don't care. And we're not doing it for the money. So with that in mind, think about your language. And if you have someone who's available at 6 p.m. Mountain Time on a Wednesday, which is the one event you never want to miss, then see if we can get a good translator could sit in the room at the side like they're doing in multiple languages, and everyone's going to benefit as a result. Now, with that in mind, I'm going to advertise next week's event because you don't want to miss it. Some things that are coming is the new website, the new app. I don't want to say dates, I'll get killed, but that's going to be before Barcelona. That's all I can say. Gee, I hope it is. No, it is going to be. So with that in mind, with all that stuff wrapping up, next week, we're going to do an event talking about how to engage a tribe of people on social media. Too many people, if I just said, handed you a gun, you go, oh, I'll go oh shit, I've just shot myself in the foot, or I've just shot my mirrors out. I don't know what I'm doing. I haven't been trained. If we give you the tools that are coming in this new app and website, and we don't first train you not to spam people with social media, you're going to use that gun and shoot yourself in the head with the new stuff. You're going to repel. Remember this, selling is repelling. Write it down. Selling is repelling. Where you engage with people, you build a tribe. So you're going to need to sell, but how? How do you do it subtly so that you don't scare all the fish away by running into the water and going, here's my hooks? So we're going to talk about that next week, some ways to engage your tribe, which is designed to massage your online presence into the right vibe before we launch these new tools. Okay, so that's why I'm doing it next week. So please lock in your diary, get all your team, especially if anyone in your team says Neumi every 5 seconds, please, for their benefit and all of our benefit, bring them onto the event next week so they can realize what they're not doing right. And then when we're on that event next week, they'll learn heaps to go with that as well. So again, thank you for everyone who's spoken today. We're right on the hour. It's been a great call, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening.